You know me, I never take tours. But this tour is visiting something I just wouldn't be able on my own.
On the checkpoint Ityatki, you will have to show your passport one more time, so don't hide them.
So today we're going to be visiting Pripiat, which is the city right next to Chernobyl where the horrible atomic disaster happened. So right now we're at the checkpoint, they're checking, everybody's going in and out. You cannot go there without a tour. It's a really secure zone, so if you want to visit the city, you gotta book a tour. My mom says I'm kind of crazy for wanting to visit, because you know that disaster, it only happened 30 years ago. So it's all really fresh in the consciousness of people. All their parents that grew up in the Soviet Union remember it. Remember how the whole disaster unfolded, the lies that were told on TV, and how the truth came out slowly, and how people got sick and people died. So it's, you know, it may seem like a just fun touristic attraction for Westerners, but it's also important not to forget it was an important and horrible event in history. People are still affected by it. People still have cancer from fighting it, you know.
My name is Julia. Today I'll be a guide.
We just stopped at our first stop. It's just walking the street with a bunch of abandoned houses. It's pretty creepy, but there's some beautiful flowers. This is kind of insane here. That's it. We're at the entrance of the Chernobyl town. You can see here, it represents the map of the exclusion zone affected by the disaster. And every little piece on the floor represents like a village that has been evacuated from the zone. And over there in the alley, you can actually read the name of every village. We're not in the really toxic part yet. This is the city of Chernobyl. It's in the 30-kilometer zone. And actually 150 people live here, and another 2,000 still work at the power plant. You know, they're building the new cap on top of it. You know, there's a lot of maintenance, army, patrolling, stuff like that. And actually I'm surprised to see there's a quite modern museum right here. This is the original machinery that was used to decontaminate the grounds. It's actually the real one. It's only been like repainted and cleaned from the radioactive materials. So we also got this machine to measure the radiation. Apparently it's going to start beeping once it reaches 30, which is kind of when it starts to slowly become dangerous. So far it's all good. No radiation here. More than 30, it's like 2. We entered the 10-kilometer zone, and radiation here is significantly higher. You can hear everybody's sensors just beeping and beeping. This here used to be a kindergarten, but it's now completely abandoned.
Radioactivity is in the air for you and me.
This right here is the actual reactor. On top of it is this sarcophagus that's containing all the radioactive materials. It doesn't look that dangerous from here, just peaceful. Oh, look at that bird. Pro tip, always wash your hands before eating in a radioactive zone. Alright, it's lunchtime at the workers' canteen. People who work in the station right now also eat here. That's a lot of food, and it actually looks quite tasty. Since those catfish are radioactive basically, nobody fishes them, nobody eats that fish. There's so many and they're massive. I got a special cookie treat for them.
Oh.
Nope.
Radioactivity. Tune into the melody.
That's it. That's the closest we're gonna get to the reactor. Let's see what's the radioactive rating. So close to the actual reactor. It's really not much. So the reading reads it 0.78, which is above like the regular city radiation. But apparently before they put in this new dome, the reading around here was like 5 and something. So it really is working. Construction of this new sarcophagus was actually finished in 2016, but it's not yet officially active, which means it hasn't been like verified by various committees and all that stuff. The next stop is the town of Pripiat. It is the closest town from the power plant. It is now completely abandoned. You're not allowed to live there because it's within the 10-kilometer zone, which is still very radioactive. I was editing and I realized those numbers don't really have any context, and it actually might seem more dangerous than it actually is. So let's say in a city the background radiation would be, like the guide said, between 0.10 to 0.20, and it's absolutely non-dangerous. It's like this pretty much everywhere in the world. When you go into the zone and you see 0.70 and it goes and hovers around that, it seems like a lot. But in reality, just taking the plane exposes you to so much more radiation. From what I understand, it can go to like 10, 15, which is so, it's like hundreds of times more dangerous and more radiation. And it's still fine. We fly in planes all the time. Where the danger lies is the fact that the vegetation and the soil, it absorbs the radiation. You can see that when we put the sensor closer to the ground, it really spikes and it's a lot more radioactive. So the danger lies in, let's say, consuming the water or the mushrooms or the fish or the berries that are grown there. Because then you get all those really radioactive things that concentrate the radiation into your body. Same as like just living there could be dangerous because you're just always surrounded by that radioactive dirt. But the air, it's really, really not dangerous. I mean...
Radioactivity.
We're now going to spend a whole hour walking around the town of Pripiat. It's actually a really big city, so there's no way we could see it all in only an hour. But I think the tour is going to bring us to like the main, most impressive places.
It's in the air for you and me.
I'm so disappointed they didn't let us use the drone. We brought it all the way here, and then as soon as we turned it on, she was like, no, like it's too noisy to fly a drone. I don't know what too noisy means. I think it's just a stupid rule, but I'm not gonna argue. And instead, just enjoy the abandoned park over here. This here used to be the supermarket of the town. It's now empty.
Radioaktivität. Für dich und mich im All entsteht. Strahlt zum Empfangsgerät.
The highest which I had, it was 15 with something.
This is the last stop of the tour. It's this town called Chernobyl 2. It was a secret town, which is in fact a military base with big antennas that were used to detect missiles. Because it was the time of the Cold War and the Soviet Union decided it's kind of important to know if America decides to launch a missile towards the Soviet Union. It's funny, there was this decoy story about how this military base was actually an abandoned children's summer camp called Little Sun. It's just like a story they told locals so they don't come snoop around. But nobody really believed it because, you know, when you see like army people always around that summer camp, you kind of figure out it's not a summer camp. I've never seen anything like this. This is just massive.
Strahlt zum Empfangsgerät.
I'm really trying, but I don't think I can convey by video just how massive this space is. I think you just gotta come here to see it. It's insane. It's just blowing my mind right now. I wasn't expecting some kind of antenna to just impress me so much.
Radioaktivität. Wenn's unsere Zukunft geht.
One thing left to do before the end of the tour. Since we're leaving the 10-kilometer special zone, we have to pass the radiation control. I'm clean.
Für dich und mich im All entsteht.